She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hello and welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. I hope that today you're going to choose good things to make the day as best as it possibly can be, even in the face of all kinds of things that you don't even know are in front of you. Whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, that you choose to make the wise choices and do the right thing no matter what seems to come your way today. Hey, today we're going to talk about leadership. I'm excited about this content. I really am. This is like so fresh inside of me. I've been having a lot of conversations with a lot of different people and just like, I don't know, just so much inspiration that's been coming out. And here on the Dani Johnson Show, we help to bring you content that is going to redefine your personal plan for success, going to redefine for you how you want to live your life. We bring you ideas and strategies, even skill sets, and ways to solve problems that you don't even know you have, or problems that you know that you're in the thick of that need to be solved in a different way than how you've solved them in the past. When we talk about leadership, I was recently in a conversation with an individual who had been promoted, had been given a trial period to be in management, yet was not given a job description. That was poor management on the upper level managers. On the upper level manager, in fact, he was a vice president. He had promoted somebody to an interim leadership role, an interim management role on a test of 90 days to see how he would do. And so when I met with this individual and we did a little bit of coaching and kind of looking and surveying how that 90 days went and what he knew about management, I was completely blown away about what he was not told. And so when I asked the question, okay, well, tell me, you've been in a management role for 90 days. Tell me, how do you feel you've done? And what do you think a manager is? What was so profound about this conversation is that everything he talked about was increased tasks. He says, well, I think that a manager just has more tasks to do than the people that are not in management. You know, they have to finish this and do that. And I said, so what else, being in a management role, what else does that mean? He says, well, isn't it just that you are added more to your plate and that's why you're going to get paid more money to actually do more things? And I said, no, not exactly. And we went on to have a lengthy conversation about the reality of management and to really think about whether or not he even wanted to take on that role. Because management means that you're not going to be the most popular person in the office. Management means that, yes, you are going to take on more tasks. And by the way, everybody else's tasks that you are managing, if they don't get it done, it's your job to get it done. So you can pretty much kiss goodbye your 8 to 5 mentality. Because a good manager, a good leader doesn't see the clock as being, well, I'm out of here. I got to go. That's not how they see it. They have to make sure that the team has performed, and they've got to fill in the blanks if their team hasn't performed. And if their team hasn't performed, that's on them as well. It is something they either miscommunicated, did not give clear definitions or protocols so that the thing could get done, and or didn't hold the people accountable in a way that pulled the best out of that team. So we talked about a lot of different skill sets that management has to have, and really came against all the misconceptions of what management is. And it just dawned on me because one of my sons is working for a retail outlet that is very, very popular. It's not a retail store or anything like that, but he's working for a franchise, and I get to hear these crazy stories of the managers. People who are in management that are not going to be there very long. Kind of like this. I said, a lot of people in the undercarriage of a business, when they're looking up to management, this is how they think about it. They think, oh gosh, when I get there, I get to boss people around. I get to make my own schedule. When I get there, I'm going to have access to bonuses, and I'm going to be able to talk to the more important people in the office. Once I get to that management role, man, I'm not going to have to do all that grunt work that I've had to do all these years. Those other people are going to have to do all that grunt work, but I'm going to get to do more important things than I used to do. And then to hear the stories of one of the managers that my son works with where he says, this guy literally, he sits with his feet up on his desk ordering us, the rest of us, on how to do this or that. He says, and the phones are ringing like crazy, orders are coming in like crazy, and he's still just kind of sitting there bossing us around from his chair instead of getting on the phone himself. He hasn't done the job in so long, he doesn't even remember how to actually do it. He says, but this other manager that we have, he says, that manager, we want that guy to be promoted to the general manager. He's awesome. He's a team player. He's like the best at actually doing the job, all the facets of the job. We know we can ask him for advice, and we know if he comes down on us, he's got a right to, because it's something that we're screwing up on, because he leads with so much grace and so much mercy and so much patience with us. So we know if we really upset him, we really must have screwed up. So we all are voting for him to get promoted to a much higher level of management. But the other guy, we want that guy to be fired. Now there you go. There's two different views of management, and it's so funny how the people who are not in management, how they see that role. How they see that, oh, things are going to get easier. No. Oh, I get to boss people around. No. You actually have to pull the best out of people, and you're going to have really good people skills. And you're going to have to solve a lot of people problems. And you are going to deal with all kinds of ridiculous drama. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to make decisions that are really hard decisions, and you're not going to be able to tell people the reason why you had to fire Joe because you want to honor Joe, and you want to keep honor in your mouth and keep honor about yourself. And so you won't be able to tell why you had to fire that individual. Maybe he really screwed up on some tax forms. Maybe he really screwed up on not following through on very important documents or very, very important policies and putting things in place to be able to protect everybody. Or maybe it is that he was completely insubordinate and he wouldn't finish the tasks, simple tasks that were actually given to him. Maybe he was totally rebellious in every way, but because of his level of management, people would go, oh no, now that guy, he's the best. But when you're in management, sometimes you have to make decisions to fire someone's favorite coworker. And then you get to be the one that's judged. You get to be the one that is judged when you have to fire that person, because you can't tell the whole story about all the things the guy completely screwed up because you want to honor that person. And so those are tough decisions that have to be made in management. So today, I want us to talk about the best management that you have, some of the worst management that you've had, what you've had to learn from it. And if you are a manager, what are some of the mistakes that you've made? What are some of the things that you've utilized, tactics, strategies, skills you've had to develop to become a better manager? So let's really dive into this thing, because I want you to, first of all, if you are in management, get better at it. Bad management kills companies. It really does. Okay, poor management causes people to not want to stick around. But good management pulls the best out, raises up leadership. There's even a kind of management that I've seen that is crazy, and it's a codependent management. I've seen people in leadership where they develop a system of codependency with their employees so that they think they'll never lose their job, that they're so important and they're so needed that they are never going to lose their job. That codependent leadership is awful. There's never correction. People don't grow. People are not developed into higher levels of character. They're not developed in being able to make their own decisions. They're not released to fly and not released into freedom. So I'm really excited about today. I really am, because I think some management problems are going to be solved. I think that your next promotion is right on the cusp, right here, right now, if you utilize some of the strategies that are going to be talked about today. If you're a business owner, you might find out why some of the things in your business might be stuck because of someone you have in a management role that is actually hurting your sales, hurting your employees, hurting your brand altogether. So this is going to be a good show. This is a show that's actually going to increase your income. All right, so and by the way, if you don't have a business and you're not working for a company, let's say that you're a stay-at-home parent, you got kids, you're managing people. You're managing people. So everything that we're talking about today applies in the home as well as out of the home. All right, we've got Sonia from Mexico. Sonia, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. What have you got to say about raising up leaders and being in management?
Hi, Dani. Well, I was in a position as a team leader like 7 years ago. And actually, I have not worked before that much because I was raising my kids. So what I really did was using my mom skills to lead my team. Yeah. And I taught them how to do my work because much of the time they think that I didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. So I decided to make a day once a month that it was to take my job. They were they will get to do my job for a day, and I taught them all. And after that, I left the project because I had problems with my boss because he liked to micromanage, and I got into a few arguments with them, and well, people really didn't like me because I was not polite.
Okay, so Sonia, hold on one second. Hold on. I gotta ask you some questions really quick. I can't let you keep going because there's too many flags that have just popped up, and I want to address something that's really important. Number one, you said that people didn't like you. Number two, you said that you got into some arguments with your bosses. Okay, and so I want to address a few things. And you left the project because. Okay, so Sonia, let's look at this. One of the problems that I see in management is that people do not look in the mirror. Where people do not stop talking, evaluate their own performance, and look at themselves from the boss's perspective. Recently, I was talking with one of our clients who was facing some layoffs about 4 years ago. And he said that when he got a hold of job domination, he learned a completely different way of working his job. And he knew he was the next person on the layoff list because he had the wrong attitude and worked from the wrong perspective. He worked from the perspective as what am I going to get versus looking at the perspective of, wow, how does my boss see my position and the needs of that position and how it should be worked? When he began to look from the upper management down into his position, he found that he took no ownership in his position. And when he evaluated himself honestly, he changed how he was working. And he worked on things to make him more valuable. And rather than look at what I can get from my job, it was what can I give? How can I serve? How can I help this company grow in their sales? How can I get the name out there better for this company? And he began to implement several strategies that are inside of job domination. He not only doubled his income that year, but he went on to today, he has tripled his income and paid off $150,000 worth of debt. It's really important that management really takes an honest look at themselves and how they're leading. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
If you've ever been in management, you know how difficult it can be. But you've never heard a story quite like Melissa's. Stay tuned to The Dani Johnson Show. Did you know you can take The Dani Johnson Show with you wherever you go? It's never been easier to stay up to date with the latest content from Dani with the DaniJohnson.com app. Watch or listen in the car, at the gym, or on the go. Download it now from the App Store and Google Play and never miss a show again. Your family, business, and bank account will thank you.
Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Leadership is not about being liked. It's about producing results. It's not about attributes. It's about what you get done and how you get it done with a team of people. Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We're talking about management, how to get there. What's some terrible management that we've seen in others, the challenges that managers have, as well as some good management that we've seen in others as well. We're going over to the phones. We've got Melissa Harrington from Sonora, California. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani.
Hi. So you're in management and you own a business.
Yes.
So what have you got to say about that?
Well, owning a business isn't easy. It's definitely hard. But I went through a process. Well, I've owned my business for 4 years, and it's a retail store. And having people come in and work under you is really difficult because you want to run your business the way you want to run it, not the way someone else maybe thinks that they want to run it. And so that's really difficult to have people come in and work under you.
You know what, Melissa, what's interesting about what you just said is this. Oh, gosh, I can actually almost blow a gasket on this one. Okay, so hold on. I love what you just said. Because here, you're the one that took the risk to start the retail store, right, Melissa?
Right.
You're the one that put out all the capital, right?
Right.
To buy the inventory for the store. You're the one that put out all the capital to decorate the store. You're the one that put out all the capital to lease the building where you built your retail store, right?
Right.
And then you go to hire someone that comes in to try to tell you how to run it when they have no skin in the game at all. They put no capital in, they took no risk, and they want you to pay them for their stinking, flipping attitude from hell. Oh.
Yes. Yes.
That just cracks me up.
And coming from a small town, everyone wants to be your friend, and they are your friend because they know you, so they think they can take advantage also.
Oh, can you let me off early? I want to go on a date. Oh, she's my friend. She'll understand. I'm running late this morning. I kind of slept in. I played video games too long.
Can you work for me this weekend? I forgot I have a party.
Oh, let's ask the owner. If the owner can cover your shift because you forgot to request it off?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I've dealt with it all. So at one point, I needed to leave my store in the hands of my mom. We're co-owners. Yep. And I needed to go make a second income. And my
Hold on a second. Oh, my gosh. I have to go get a job to help pay for my business because of my sucky employees who are not committed but opinionated.
Right.
So that you can help pay for their salary.
Yes, it's been. I've gone down a road I've never knew I would have to go down.
Oh my gosh.
So I got hired as a manager to manage a brand new restaurant. Wow. Now, I walked into this position not knowing...
What restaurant in Sonora, California?
It was actually in Copper. You know where Copper is?
Copperopolis, yeah.
It was Rovedotti's, and I went in, and I didn't know that they hadn't told everyone who was working there that I would be the manager.
Oh, my God.
So I came in as an equal to everyone. And everyone thought that they were higher than me because they had been there before me.
And you were the new kid on the block who doesn't know anything.
Right. Oh. And I had no
authority.
No experience. You don't know what you're doing. And finally, there was some things that need to be implemented as a manager, talking to employees about behaviors and having to let people go and doing all those things. Well, when I stepped up to do that, there was complete...
mutiny.
Mutiny. It was mutiny. I was the worst person in the world to them. And what I had to do, I had to go and clean house. I had to clean up the mess. It was horrible.
Yes.
It was absolutely horrible. And I had to apologize to each person, even though they were disrespectful to me, even though they had no respect for my position. I wasn't better than them. I just qualified.
Hold on one second. We got to talk about this. Oh my gosh, Melissa, you are just feeding me so many things. Okay. Now here's what's funny, because people do this, employees do this, and they don't realize that it hurts them. Okay. I have it even happen in my own office where people treat me different than they treat their coworkers. That they will argue with their coworkers, even argue with management that is over them, or management period that may not be directly over them, but just management in general in the office. They will argue with them, but if I say something, oh yes ma'am, I'd be glad to. Really? As though there is not a God in heaven that saw you commit that sin. Wait, there's two. One, arguing with another human being is sinful. Number two, disrespectful is sinful. Okay, wait, number three, giving special treatment to people in high places. Oh, baby, bad deal. Melissa, hold the line. We got to take a short break. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue after this.
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First steps to success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
So I just want to give you a little bit of my story. This is my first time sharing my story on stage, so I'm a little nervous. But I'm excited. I was just asked, like, seriously 3 minutes ago to share my story. So we'll see how this goes. So my name, like Ray said, my name's Carradine Roundy. I am from Wyoming. Is there anyone else from Wyoming here? Yeah! I was thinking, I'm like, I think I'm the only one that I've met from Wyoming. That's cool. I'm glad. So prior to plugging into Dani Johnson and First Steps to Success, my husband and I were completely drowning in debt. We got this new job and we increased our income, so we increased our way of living, which is what happens. And we were young, we were just married, and we completely bought more than we needed. We bought a new house, we already had a truck loan, we bought a new car, we lived to the max. And our marriage started to struggle, and we got to where all of our fights were about money constantly. And my husband had a really good job, so we had plenty of money. That was not the issue. It was that we never kept any of it. We spent it on stuff we didn't need. So just a little bit of background. It's just my husband and I, we have no kids, and we bought a 6-bedroom house. I know. Well, that's just, we had the money. The bank told us we had the money we could, so we did. And so obviously we spent the money to fill those rooms in that house on stuff we didn't need. So anyways, our marriage was failing. I mean, we were young, we just got married, and all of our fights were over stupid stuff that was unnecessary. And so I remember one time, just like a quick little look into what it was like. I remember one time sitting in front of our fireplace, our nice fireplace in our nice house, and we were fighting over how we were going to pay for Christmas for our families. And that was the eye-opener for us, that something had to change. And so we made a decision, and I started a business, and that's what actually opened me up to DaniJohnson.com and to First Steps to Success. And so after coming out of First Steps to Success, we have now been able to pay off, this is crazy, we have now been able to pay off just over $300,000. Which is completely crazy because we just thought debt was something that you live with. You know, you're always going to have a mortgage. You're always going to have a house payment, you know, car payments. That's just the way life goes. And little did we know that that's not the case. So we now live in a smaller house. We love it. We actually, I have less house to clean, which I'm good with. And we live so much more simple, and our marriage is completely turned around. We no longer fight about money. We wonder where we're going to invest into next and how soon we're going to get, you know, the mortgage paid off, and that's exciting to us. So everything's just completely changed. And, you know, the relationships that we've been able to grow with other people that are wondering what we're doing, that's been amazing because we've met so many great people, and learning what Dani's going to teach this afternoon has helped us grow to being people more than anything. And not like we hated people before, both of us. Like we never had those skills. And so I'm really excited for this afternoon. This afternoon's going to be completely transforming to you. As far as being, like she mentioned this morning, you know, like your business is people, your business isn't your product. And so with that being said, I just want to have you help me welcome back my mentor and America's favorite millionaire, Dani Johnson.
Helping you become all you were meant to be. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Today's show has my blood boiling already. Careful, I'm Latin. I guess all we have to do is talk about stupid things that employees like to do, and it's so sad because there's like such a different mindset with those people, and disrespect and dishonor is never going to result in you keeping your job or even getting you promoted in your job. It'll keep you stuck or get you fired. And that's what Melissa, a business owner from Sonora, California, which is my old stomping grounds. In fact, our company, DaniJohnson.com, was founded in Sonora, California back in, 2003. Yeah, August of 2003, was our birth of our company that has done tens of millions of dollars in revenue since that time, has impacted the lives of millions of people all over the world. Who would ever thought when we started that business out of the bedroom? No joke. Right out of my bedroom is where it was started. But Melissa Harrington is calling us today from Sonora, California, talking about her business that she runs as a retail store, and she's also a manager for a restaurant, and how she had to fire everybody. Yeah. Now, you know, here's what's interesting, okay, because there's another part that I want to talk about. Because I've experienced the same thing. The owners should have installed you with the authority, letting these people know that you were the new manager over the restaurant. And so they literally crippled you because of a lack of communication. They hurt their sales. They hurt the company morale. They hurt those employees that eventually had to be fired by not installing you and giving you the authority to act as the manager. Number one, huge, stupid mistake, okay? I've seen people do that, even people that are close to me, where it's like, you know, hello, you know, McFly, there's an order here, and you need to, like, you know, set people up for success. The second thing, though, however, is this really worked out for the benefit, because what you got to see was how they treated a new employee. If you hadn't been given the authority, right, as the manager, and they announced you to be that person, you would not have seen how a new employee was treated. Number one. Number two, you would not have seen how they worked with their coworkers. You would not have seen that if you had been installed in that position. So keep going. So what happened from there?
Well, from there, we kind of had to start over. We went through a couple rounds of new employees and training people up, and it took a while, but we built a pretty strong team. That's and awesome. It was strong because we all had respect for one another.
Yes.
We all knew what each other's position was.
Yep.
And we didn't cross those boundaries.
Yep.
And if we did have an issue, it was instead of, because before it was, talking
behind each other's
people's backs and it getting to someone else.
Sounds like Sonora, California.
Yes.
Wow. Sounds like the school my kids went to, a church that I attended. Wow.
Yes. And so we implemented respect to one another. We had to sit down and say the way that this was handled wasn't acceptable. It wasn't acceptable for you. It wasn't acceptable for me.
Amen.
My feelings matter. My feelings matter. But we can talk to each other in a way that is respectful to one another without getting anyone else involved.
Wow.
There were just issues that had to happen. And so we would, there were a couple people that we didn't see eye to eye, but we would voice our opinions. I would state why I had my opinion. They would understand that opinion, and then we would move forward with that.
Would you allow them to state why they had their opinion?
Oh, I allowed them, yeah.
Yeah. And let me ask you, was there at any point in this management role that their opinion actually taught you something and you saw something from a different perspective?
Definitely.
Good job.
Definitely. I learned that some people thought that I talked down to them. Mm-hmm. And I learned something about that it wasn't that I was talking down to them. It was that they didn't know I had the authority to talk the way I was talking to them. Mm-hmm. And they felt like they were being belittled because I was better than them.
Okay, now hold on a minute, Melissa. You just opened up a can of worms. Okay?
Yes.
It's not about the authority, because I'd rather people not know what your position is, but gladly follow you.
Right.
So this would be an area you need to work on. Because even if you have the authority, you don't want to depend on that authority to get people to follow you and to hear your ideas. You don't need the title.
No, I agree 100%.
You don't need the title to get people to follow you. So I really would look into that. If people have felt belittled and felt like you had talked down on them, I would go back and ask, can you tell me more about that? I want to learn how not to lead like that. Whether I have the position of authority or not, I shouldn't make anyone feel like I'm talking down to them or that I'm better than them. So can you help me with this? You will gain so much respect from those people. And the bottom line is, say, from my heart of hearts, I don't see myself as better than anybody. But if that's how I'm communicating, that is wrong and disrespectful and dishonorable. And I want to have a good working relationship with you regardless of what our title or positioning is. So would you be willing to tell me specifically what I said? And even I want you to say it to me the way you perceived that I said it to you. And one of two things are going to happen, Melissa, here. One is that some people carry something from their past where they were abused by people in authority positions. And they carry that into their job. There are some that have judgments against women and judgments against men. And they've got pain in their past, junk in the trunk from the past, and it's a belief system they have that says, I can't trust women, all women put me down, or I can't trust men, all men put me down. So that's how they perceive everything, through that filter. And so when you say this to them, it's either they now have to go, well, actually, you didn't really talk to me that way. It's my own crap. Or you get to learn how to communicate. Communication is a lot like singing, right? Think about it. I don't really listen to popular singers. I don't. And pretty much all I listen to is faith-based music. But, okay, so one of my favorite musicians is Isa Agape. And I can't sing to save my life, okay? I would be broke if I had to depend on singing career. I'd be just totally broke. But, singers get coaches, especially the really high-level singers. They have coaches that help, a voice coach, right? That help to perfect the inflections of their voice, how they control their voice, and also how they perform. Because 93% of all communication is nonverbal. 93% is nonverbal. So communication and singing is the same thing. And so we can sing a song with our 93% nonverbal communication that really sells that song and really puts the emotion into that song. And of course, tone is nonverbal also. And so, or we can communicate that song in a yucky way, or in a way that's off pitch, or a way that our body language is just not lining up with the words that we are saying. And so singing and talking is very similar. And what you want to do is allow your people to speak to you and to say, yeah. And first of all, I'm really happy to hear that you created a safe place enough for you to hear them to say, I feel like you talk down to me and I feel like you belittle me. Like I said, sometimes that's their own junk in their own trunk. But if you have a lot of people saying that, then it's like, whoa, hold the phone, man. This is how I'm being perceived. It's not my heart of hearts. I don't feel like that. But the bottom line is that's the truth of which they are receiving from me. So this is when you then say, hold me accountable, because I don't want you to feel that way. And then you edify them. You build them up. You encourage them. You tell them how awesome they are and the things that you like about what they do. Write them thank you cards. And then say, please come to me the next time I do that. I don't care if I'm stressed out or not. I want you to tell me, in as much loving and respectful way that you can, that I'm doing that again. And hold me accountable. I'm going to work on this. Because I don't want anyone ever in my entire life, I don't want my children, I don't want my husband, I don't want my parents, I don't want anybody to ever feel that I'm speaking to them in a way that is belittling and condescending. Girl, run with that. Run with that. Because one of the things with leading people is creating a safe place where people can actually share their feelings, share their weaknesses, and come together. It's like glue when we meet on that kind of a level and we're unified at a level that is just unusual. And that's something that we've done here with our company and all the companies that we've built. It's just like, we got to glue, we got to stick together. We got to work through hard times together. And we have to have an open relationship where we can just share. Hey, this is how I felt when you said this. And I get the opportunity to say, man, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. That was absolutely wrong. And not justify it, not belittle what they said. Just, you know what? Please tell me if I do that again, because I don't ever want you to feel like that. And just own up and move forward. It allows you to become a better person, a better communicator. It allows you to be even stronger on your game. And it also sets an amazing example. And now they respect you all the more because you're humble and you're somebody that is working on yourself and you're somebody that is wanting to improve. So, man, Melissa, thank you. Man, you really shared so many great things here today that I think really helped a lot of us. And I love that, yeah. This went in a lot of different directions, and I love everything that was talked about. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Do you know the key ingredient to effective leadership? The one thing that separates leaders from dictators? Dani will tell you what it is next.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. The most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities. And they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First steps to success, register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
My name is Andris and I'm from Latvia. Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was a struggling English teacher back home. I had a language school that I started when I was 21 and had grown it to be pretty okay in my city. But at the same time, I had acquired a debt of $60,000. In a matter of 8 to 9 months, I got rid of my debt, and by 2011, we had our first $1 million year. This has been amazing. We grew our school from about 100 students to 2,000 students, and I can only highly recommend for you to come to the next event and be part of this community and learn the tools that will help you to succeed.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, my family and I were hemorrhaging under the pressures of debt. Since attending First Steps to Success in January of 2014, my family and I have paid off over $147,000 in 19 months. We're completely consumer debt free. We have restored relationships, and our business is growing at a rate of 15% at every event. Your next step is to sign up for the next First Steps to Success and start creating your own story.
My name is Jeff Conyers, and prior to First Steps to Success, I was a struggling business owner. I had discovered that my business account went negative $5,000, and I realized that I did not have a business plan and I needed to do something. Fast forward to 1 year after, I have now created, just by implementing the tools at First Steps to Success, over $50,000, created another business, improved my personal and business relationships. Man, it's like the story is forever changing, and it just gets better and better. I don't know about you or what you're going through, but I would highly recommend getting to First Steps to Success.
Prior to plugging into First Steps to Success, we were drowning under a mountain of debt. We were heading to divorce court. We had failing businesses and toxic relationships. Since plugging into First Steps to Success, our marriage has been restored. We have paid off over $56,000 in 11 months. We've helped our community pay off over $300,000 in 14 months. My business has grown in over 600% in 4 months. And for the first time, I could say I'm just loving life. I have great relationships. So if you are fine where you are, then this event is not for you. But if you're ready to reach your goal and to change your life, then I highly recommend that you get registered for the next event.
Hi, my name is Jill Kearns. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Prior to coming to First Steps to Success, my husband and I were struggling financially and were hurting in our relationship a lot. We needed more time together, and we just were struggling with that because of the finances. And so since plugging in, we've actually paid off over $280,000 in debt. We're completely debt-free, and more than anything else, the look on my husband's face of relief and excitement about where our future lies, and the traveling and the fun, enjoyable times that we'll get to spend together as a family is totally worth it. So if you want to have better relationships with your significant other, your children, if you have a desire to be completely debt-free and released from that bondage for whatever reason, whatever the burdens are, your next step is to get to First Steps to Success right now.
So prior to getting started to DaniJohnson.com, I was a college dropout. I was working a bottom-of-the-barrel type job. I started plugging into her training. I've skyrocketed through the ranks of corporate America. I've tripled my income in the last 5 years. That's all fine and dandy, but it wasn't, there's a part of me that had a part missing, so I ended up using Dani's prospecting skills, and I ended up meeting the love of my life. Since then, we've paid off $32,000 of debt since October 2014. So get here now. This is the greatest thing ever. You have to see this. The skills and strategies Dani teaches are unbelievable. They totally took someone like me with no education and helped me just like multiply my efforts. So you need to be here.
It's time for a checkup from the neck up. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Whomever among you desires to become great shall first become your servant. Such powerful words, such a powerful perspective from the greatest success book ever written, the Bible. All management issues are in that book. Leadership issues, financial, emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, health. It's all inside. Marriage, raising kids. dealing with your staff. It's all in that very powerful, powerful, rich book. And that being one of them. I'm of the opinion that serving is far greater than any title, is far more important than a position and better than a paycheck. But learning to first serve others instead of being served. Some people in companies and families are all waiting to be served instead of serving other people. You rise to the top by serving, not by demanding service. We're talking about management and leadership today, the pitfalls of it, mistakes that we've made, challenges that we've had, so that we can grow through them. We've got Leah Murtaugh from Minnesota. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi. So,
how are you?
Good. So what are your issues concerning management?
Yeah, so I just wanted to, I had replied to a post of yours on Facebook that I learned the hard way as a manager that I needed to gain trust before trying to lead my team.
Yes.
And that I think leading is mostly about learning, and it's a constant learning process for me, and especially now that I own my own business as well.
Yes.
So learning and caring about your people and learning how to deliver a quality outcome on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Learning what
Leah, you know what's so interesting about what you're saying is that gaining trust, I didn't want to just roll over that statement because that was a huge learning experience for you to learn how to gain trust from people before you start bossing them around, if you will. Because when we lead with trying to just tell people what to do before they know our heart for them, before they know that we really care about them and that we want to help them to succeed. Everybody in management wants to see their team succeed. Everybody does. It's just about how we communicate that to those people. And if we do not take the time to bond with our team, for example, I was really proud of our one of the people that's in a leadership role here recently. Her and a team of people rose up and said, it's time we go play together. And so rather than waiting for the upper management to say, hey, let's go have a barbecue, or let's go to the river, or let's go do this, this person in a lower management role said, you know what? Yeah, we need to follow their example. And so they sent out an email to the entire company to go play laser tag and just said, hey, it's time we have some fun together. And laser tag is a blast. It's super cheap, $3 for 15 minutes. Most people can't do more than 15 minutes of laser tag, trust me. But it's a blast. And this place here in town is like so like low key and small. And it's like, you know, there's never a line. I'm sure they brought the line. But about a dozen of them the other night went and they just played together. And so it's really important. That's one way to gain trust, is to do some things outside of work with your coworkers and building bridges and instead of building walls. Because when we get in the work environment, it's like task, task, task. We got to go, 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 go. Another thing that can be done is maybe spending time in the lunchroom during the lunch break with one of your coworkers, with somebody that's on your team, and just say, hey, you want to have lunch together in the lunchroom today? Or, you know, hey, next week on Thursday, you want to have lunch together in the lunchroom? I'd love to just get to know you. I'd love to just spend time with you. And that's where you just, you know, get to know how many kids do they have? What's the name of their dog? You know, what do they like to do outside of work? What is their vision for their job? What is their goal here? What is their vision outside of work? Like, what's the vision they have for their life, or some things that they're working on, or projects that they have, or hobbies that they have outside of work that are important to them, and how you can learn as their manager to help them be able to achieve what some of those things are even outside of work. And so trust, Leah, is like huge. I mean, that is absolutely massive. And I love what you said, that being in leadership is really just learning. You have to constantly learn and be molded and shaped literally by the whole unit of the entire team in order to be able to lead them to where you want to go. I love it. Awesome comment, Leah. I just appreciate you sharing that learning experience with us. Next, we've got Brianna Crow from South Carolina. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hello.
So what about you?
Sorry, what?
So what about you as a manager and understanding what has to be done versus different perceptions maybe that you had in the past?
Kind of the comment I made was, and kind of where Raven messaged me was, kind of put into perspective as rubies versus pearls and emeralds.
Okay, so hold on. Let me explain what that is, because our listeners have not been to First Steps to Success yet. So we do a thing called GEMS at First Steps to Success. It's a communication tool for you to be able to identify within minutes, 60 seconds, 30 to 60 seconds, what the personality and the motivator is inside of another person. So in the case of a ruby, that's someone who's like really challenge-oriented, very, very driven, highly intense. And then a pearl is their opposite, where there's like way low-key, just wants to serve people, really more quiet, more introspective, and calm. And so she's talking about, it's a clashing between management and employees sometimes. So go ahead, Brianna.
Yeah, so I find that rubies really get it done. They're very able to get it done. They're able to come to work and get everybody to get to work, Just everybody work, and this is what we're doing today, and this is what we need to finish. And
they're results-oriented, right.
Yeah. But the problem is that sometimes we're human beings, and there's kind of a lack of compassion there sometimes, whether or not somebody's having an emotional day. There's also a lack of understanding that people learn differently.
Yes.
Stuff like that. And I worked for so many different companies, and I find that I work better under a pearl, usually attached with an emerald, because stuff is still getting done, but there's that understanding that everybody's different and everybody has emotions and everybody learns differently and needs something different.
Yes, yes, yes. So very true. And it is true. Some of those driving type people have zero patience, and a manager with zero patience is not a good manager. It's just not. And a leader who has no understanding of the different types of personalities is not a good leader. But someone who has a good grasp of the different types of personalities that are within their team and knows how to motivate and speak to them according to what motivates that person, as well as don't have expectations. Don't have expectations of the pearl being the overproducer and busting out records and getting 50 things done in 2 hours. You don't expect that out of your pearl, but you do expect out of your pearl to have good morale within the office, for them to have really good relationships with other people, for them also to have good relationships with the clients, for them to be thinking from the perspective of how can we sustain the business and maintain the business versus growing the business. We need both. You have to have both. And so management that understands that each personality brings strengths and weaknesses to the table and how to utilize them to best fit the business and best fit the people is someone that's really going to do well and cause the company to grow. Great comment, Brianna. Man, everyone just brought such great stuff to the show today. I mean, just really, I don't know about you, but I learned something. I got convicted on a few things myself, and I hope you did too. Yeah, no question. We can all learn to grow in this area of leadership, and we certainly, as a nation, need better leadership as well. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
It's time to take on a whole new mindset. Stay right here for more of The Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider Membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success.
You want to succeed, right? But you do not want to fail God at the same time. There is a way to succeed from a biblical perspective, and it's far greater than anything you could ever imagine. Over 500 scriptures I studied to study money, everything that the Bible said about money. That's in the first couple chapters of Spirit-Driven Success. Not to mention leadership, working with people, growing a career, being used mightily in the marketplace, which is where Abraham, God used him in the marketplace. And Joseph, God used him in the marketplace. Moses, God used him in the marketplace. Daniel, Solomon, really all of the greats of faith, most of the greats of faith throughout the Bible, they all were in the marketplace, and God wants to show you how you can be used mightily by him in the marketplace. Right here, Spirit-Driven Success is where all of my notes are on how you can do that. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Spirit-Driven Success today.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
If you're thinking that you'll never make it up into a leadership role, unfortunately, because of the way that you think, you're probably right. But if you choose to change the way you think and think, man, how can I get noticed? How can I get promoted? Think about this, who you are today and the way that you work today and the work ethic that you have and how you approach your job. Is it good enough? Is it what warrants a promotion into a leadership role? Be thinking about this. What kind of books should I be reading? That's one of the things at the very beginning of the show I was telling you about an interview that I had recently with a young man that was given a position without the actual job description because his manager really screwed that up and just kind of pointed him in the direction and said, have fun. And so he had to try to figure it out on his own, and he wasn't figuring it out on his own. He was making terrible mistakes that were actually hurting his leadership. One of the questions I asked, I said, well, hey, you're going for this position to be in management. So what books are you reading right now and learning how to do that? He goes, that would have been a really good idea. Yeah. So let me ask you, I'm asking you, what books are you reading? What seminars are you attending? What classes maybe are you attending to help prepare you for where you want to go? If you want to be in a higher level of pay and a higher level of management, what skills are you lacking right now? And what classes can you take? I had a conversation with a young lady yesterday that loves marketing. And I said, so are you going to school to learn how to do some marketing? She's like, I never thought of that. Take some marketing classes at the local college. It's a community college. It's cheap. But you could be learning by taking some classes. You know, somebody that wants to move in a higher level in bookkeeping to accounting, take some accounting classes. What skills do you need? Okay, I want to be a manager. There's project management courses that you can take. So don't just stay stuck and hope to get picked. There's literally classes you can be taking that will help to prepare you. And I'm not talking about some of these ridiculous so-called classes by these so-called gurus that are online. Right? Most of these guys are nothing but a bunch of hackers. Recently, I found a box of a bunch of stuff that my husband had purchased in the past. Most of those people don't even exist anymore. From 15 years ago, they're not there. Even from 5 years ago, all these gurus, join my class. I'm going to give you my 5 marketing, expert, whatever, for sales. And where are they? They only knew how to sell the class. They didn't know how to teach somebody how to do it. They were nothing but hackers. Don't be stupid. There are courses all over the place that you can be diving yourself into that actually produces results. And so look at that. What skills am I lacking? What classes can I be taking? What books should I be reading? What seminars should I be attending to help move myself from where I'm at to where I want to go? If you're not learning, you ain't growing. And if you ain't growing, you're going down. So it's time to get serious about whatever career has been placed in front of you, whatever job it is that you have, and learn. Same with you moms and dads, raising kids. What, you think that you're supposed to just be natural at it? Give me a break. Not in today's society. We're a mess. Take some classes, parenting, read some parenting books, learn how you can become better. This is Dani Johnson. Thanks so much for joining me today. God bless. Have a great day.
If this episode was an encouragement to you, go to DaniJohnson.com and share it with your friends now. You never know who else needs to hear it. This has been The Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.